Welcome to ICAN Learning Solutions, your hub for debt collection solutions. I'm Craig A. Nell, your debt collection specialist, here to guide you on this journey. In our videos, we explore crucial tools and skills to boost your debt collection performance. We cover collection strategies, we review software, and discuss collection agent training and outsource management. Join us for this educational and insightful adventure. Welcome to ICAN Learning Solutions. For over 2 decades, I've been at the forefront of debt collections, navigating various sectors from banking and financial services to home loans, vehicles and education. But for me, it's not just a job, it's a true calling. My mission is to understand human behavior. And here's the secret. Every text, email or agent phone call carries a unique tone that can make a debtor think twice about you, not just their debt. I come from the old school where spraying and praying and scare tactics were the norm. I've lived through it all, but I've learned that treating debtors with respect and dignity, educating them, leads to better results. The key to success in debt collection lies in investing our energy and resources into training our collection agents. After all, they are the ears and eyes and the face of a business. They are our most invaluable assets. Join me on this journey as we explore the art of debt collection, where human connection is crucial as the numbers. This is more than a profession for me. It's a commitment to making a difference. My name is Craig A. Nell. Good day, everybody. Welcome to the episode where we talk about the treatment plan. And I want to give you some background about this whole story called the treatment plan. In fact, it started me visiting my doctor for a general checkup. And what had happened was the doctors changed. My previous doctor retired and a new person took over. So I was quite nervous and skeptical. And I walked into the surgery. He opened my folder and the doctor kind of just read everything. My previous weight, blood pressure, medication I've been on. I said, wow, this is cool. Obviously it's a Captain Obvious moment, which is, this is what doctors do. But the transition from one doctor to the next was simple for me because they had the history. And then I thought to myself, well, how do I do this in the collection space? Where I know in contact centers we make thousands of calls, and the way the world has evolved now, everybody's on a script and we almost sound robotic. How do we create an impression to the consumer that the call is customized for them? In other words, experience I had as if I've been with this medical practitioner for many years. And the idea of the treatment plan came up. Now obviously in medical terms, the treatment plan is generally after the your consultation, whatever the illness may be. If you had an injury in sport, you go for physiotherapy or some other intervention. So in the collections context, the treatment plan basically is where a collection agent, moments before they make the call, instead of focusing on the script, which is good for compliance, but they look at information that's unique to the debtor. And it could be the last payment, who they spoke to, what kind of communication went out to them, what was their last excuse, the reason for not paying. The previous agent, did they mention any consequence for not paying? And then basically what you do then as an agent, you then go and say, well, Mr. Nell, you spoke to Mr. Jones last time and you told him that you were unemployed, but you just told me something very different. So that's basically, in a nutshell, the purpose of the treatment plan. It has many benefits, and it's definitely going to help agents give them a bit more confidence, and it's going to help you also. I think the most important benefit of the plan is that you'll be able to ask very specialized and focused questions, which will create the impression to the debtor that, hey, this person kind of customize this call. They know me well, they know my previous actions, they know my behavior or the comments that I may have made. So let me stop and take this person serious and perhaps close a deal with them. And that's it. And in this episode, I'll talk you in detail through the treatment plan. I have digitized it with one of my clients, but it's you need a pen and a paper basically. Just write key information down, and then essentially what you need to do is to ask questions that you have answers to. So for example, what did you pay the last time? Now you'll be able to see this on the system. And as a smart agent, as you've now figured out it, we are teaching you to look at what's in information's available, listen carefully, active listening, and then ask questions that you have answers to. I thank you, and I hope you enjoy the series. Good day, everybody. Hope you're well. Today we're going to talk about the treatment plan. As mentioned in the introduction, it's been developed just to make things much easier for the agent. It will build your confidence. It will make sure that they ask very focused questions with answers they already have. It's available to them. And it's going to force you as an agent to look at the screen, listen actively, and then to ask questions. Okay, so we're moving away from this environment where you are sounding robotic, where you're spending so much time, 2 minutes almost, reading a script to ensure that you're compliant, but it does not necessarily enable you to negotiate an effective payment arrangement and get them to pay. So we hope that you'll enjoy this episode. Thank you. Right, so let's talk through the key components of the treatment plan, starting with the financial history. And then we're also going to go through the communication history. So whatever engagement the debtor may have had with the collection agent or other collection agents in your company. And as I've mentioned, the method works in such a way that it's going to give you or the consumer the impression that this call has been customized for them specifically. One of the key components of the treatment plan is the tracking the financial information. I will always remind you that a treatment plan could be you just taking some notes while the dialer is doing its work. So don't stress too much. I will show you an example where I've digitized it with one of my clients, which makes it much more easier. But most importantly, it's essential that you record the key information as an agent and then ask very, very focused questions. So yes, we're moving away from the robotic reading a 2-minute script so that you're compliant with the client's requirements or QA. You'll still be doing some of those things, but your majority, in fact 80% of the call will be you as a collection agent asking very, very focused questions and getting down to the business negotiation. Remember, the main important benefit of a treatment plan is to create the impression to a consumer that this call has been customized for them. And remember, they are now immune to all the collection agencies calling them and sounding robotic. And in fact, some companies do enable robots to call consumers, which is where the world is at the moment. But we believe at ICAN that having that personal touch will makes a major, huge difference. So first of all, let's talk through the key components. So it's always to be mindful that what is the account status? Meaning, is the consumer still able to use a credit facility? If it is so, are they perhaps 30 days in arrears, or is the account been written off? And your job basically is just to collect the outstanding total due and make a suitable payment arrangement. It's always important to always kick off your negotiation demanding the total due, and I urge you guys, please don't go from total due to 50 Rand. Most systems will have a minimum payment, and indeed on the treatment plan that we've automated, it will have a minimum payment, but it also has a nice tool there where you can calculate alternative payment arrangements but it will always be higher than a minimum payment. Minimum payment is what your client expects of you. It's or the company view, credit provider. What is a minimal acceptable amount that we'll take from the consumer, and that will get them out of the trouble that they're in. And I've mentioned the alternative amounts. The treatment plan, if automated, will have a calculator available, and we can then adjust the repayment period. But you can do that with a pen and paper, with a calculator, very, very quickly. Is there any discounts available or a special offer? Be mindful that you're still going to be asking for the total amount due, and then present that special offer, perhaps, when the person shows some resistance. But always make sure that the offer is quite limited and there's a very short time period. So in other words, you qualify for a discount, but you need to settle within 3 days. And are you open to that? Or even, and the next one would be settlement discounts. Many companies, especially with debt that's been written off, companies are offering settlement discounts. So just be clear as an agent, in fact a smart agent, to be carefully present these options. And I do know in the scripted environment, people actually read the whole list. You can get a discount, you're gonna settle, blah blah blah. That's not what a smart agent is about. You offer one option to them, that's it. Look at the payment history. So if they do agree on a payment arrangement with you, look at the dates that they've paid in the past. Look at the amount that they've paid, because that will give you kind of a view if they will continue in that line, and then bring it up to say, well, you've agreed now to pay 500 Rand, but I've seen last month on the 10th you've paid 250. So I just want to make sure that you're going to be able to stick to this arrangement. Look at the payment dates that they've paid. Obviously, for smart agents, we will always be, if they're employed, push for the salary date. And also always remember, there's no such thing as month end, because in South Africa there are trends. People pay the 15th, 20th, get paid 25th, and then at month end, actual month end, the last day of the month, but there could be 28 days, 31 days. So just be very careful and veer away from this concept called month end. Just have very specific dates in mind. And then look at payment methods. If the debtor was on a debit order before, try your best to activate that solution, because as you know, it's much more reliable. Right, next let's talk about communication. So what sort of engagement was had with the debtor in the past? Who engaged with them? What was discussed? What kind of promises were made? What sort of arrangement was made? And most importantly, what did the previous collection agent talk to them about? What was the consequences, and so forth and so on. This is quite interesting, especially if you're working with a default where the person promised to pay on a particular date and then do not pay, and you're calling 3 or 4 days later to follow up. And we strongly suggested you say, hey, hi, how are you? You've had a conversation with Craig on the 10th of November, and you promised to pay on the 12th, and you haven't paid. And that again obviously gives the consumer or debtor a bit of a shock to say, hey, this thing looks quite customized. It looks like they've just removed a folder somewhere, and they're very focused and specific. We also suggest that you refer to texts and emails or WhatsApps that may have been issued or sent before. And always remember, there's no debtor that would kind of give you the impression it's the first time they know they're in arrears. Most companies would be sending multiple channels of communication to the debtor, so refer to that. Yes, we've mentioned all of these, and also yes, be mindful of what payment options available. We've mentioned earlier, are there any settlement discounts? And look at the payment history as well, that's clear, and talk to them and say, hey, I've seen in your system that you've been paying 250 Rand every month. Are you aware that the minimum payment is 500 Rand? So again, you're using information, you're asking questions to answers that you already have. Look at the payment dates and look at the methods that they have used in the past. Very important. So here we go. We've got two very good examples of a treatment plan. The one on your right is something that has been automated with one of my clients, and you can see very, very simple information that's available: the payment history, what communication has gone out before, what dates and that they've paid, what arrangement you've made, what collection agent that you've spoken to. There's quite a nifty tool on there on how to kind of recalculate payment amounts through extending the term, so that's quite cool. And then also visually, the agent at a glance can see when this debtor paid last, because it's colored in green, and then red obviously they haven't made a payment. So we've made it with you as an agent in mind to make things as easy as possible. Hey, but don't stress if you do not have this tool. Engage with your bosses and ask them to contact us so we can help them develop it. But most importantly, as I'll show you on the left, you can actually do this just by way of writing down key information. So you can see there I've written the campaign down, the amount that I want to collect, what last engagement was this. For example, there may have been an email that was sent, and I'll refer to that. Who was the last agent? So in this case, Mackenzie was the last agent that spoke to the debtor. What was the last payment, date and amount, and what excuses did the debtor use if it's available. But it also requires, guys, that your colleagues capture this information as well, especially excuses that the debtor has used, and also what kind of consequences. You'll see on the digitized version, it actually asks you to capture what consequences did you mention, i.e. listing on a bureau, legal action, or perhaps the inability to use their facility, or the benefits that if they do repay, that they'll be able to use the card again, or whatever the story may be. So this is critical, and we hope you've learned something. This is not complicated, guys. Basically, keep your scripted information short, less than a few seconds. In other words, identify the data, identify yourself, mention that the call has been recorded, and then get down to the purpose of your call. And then after that, then it's all free flow. Not necessarily, obviously, have your specific plans that you want to ask, refer them to other to the communication or also payment behavior that they've executed in the past. And we promise you, if you follow this method, by having this treatment plan, you will be on a positive journey, and your payments will definitely improve. My name is Craig Ainel, and this is ICAN Learning Solutions.